Okay, let's talk about that feeling. That nagging sense that you're falling behind on AI, that you're somehow missing the boat. You're watching the tutorials, you're reading the articles, but when you actually sit down to do your work, nothing really changes. Well, let's get into why that's happening, and I'll give you a hint. It probably has nothing to do with you.
I mean, does this just hit a little too close to home? It's this maddening cycle, right? You see the cool demo, you think, okay, I get it. And then Monday morning rolls around and you're right back to your old workflow. If you felt this, trust me, you are so not alone.
So this whole experience, it actually has a name. It's called the implementation gap. And just putting a label on it is a huge deal. Why? Because it takes it out of your head, where it feels like a personal failing, and turns it into a real, recognized thing. This isn't about your willpower, it's about a problem in the system.
All right, so let's dig into that. Why does this whole thing feel so personal, like it's your fault? And more importantly, why is that feeling, while it makes sense, totally wrong? You know, when you keep hitting the same wall over and over again, it's just human nature to look for the one constant in the equation. And what's the constant? It's you. You see all these people online seemingly crushing it with AI, and it's so easy to land on that one simple but painful conclusion. I must be the problem.
And once that seed of doubt is planted, man, it just grows. That single thought, I'm the problem, starts to sound like this. Maybe I'm just not wired for this tech stuff. Or I'm too slow, everyone else gets it instantly. Or the big one, right? The train has left the station and I'm still standing on the platform.
But here is the absolute game changer. What if that whole line of thinking, which feels so logical, is actually built on a faulty foundation? What if the reason it didn't work has nothing to do with you and everything to do with the tools you were handed?
And this is it. This is the big idea I want you to walk away with. What you're experiencing is not a personal failure. It's a structural one. It's a system-wide mismatch.
So what do I mean by a structural problem? Let's break it down. It really boils down to two words that sound similar but are worlds apart: awareness versus integration.
Okay, think about it. Almost every piece of AI content you see online, it's a magic trick, right? It's designed to make you go, wow. It shows you this incredible, perfect result in like 30 seconds. The goal isn't to teach you anything. The goal is just to make you aware that the tool exists and can do something cool.
But here's the thing. You don't have an awareness problem. You know this stuff exists. Your problem is completely different. It's an application problem. You're not asking, what can this do? You're asking, how does this help me on a chaotic Tuesday afternoon when I've got 3 deadlines and a client breathing down my neck? Totally different ballgame. And this is where it all goes wrong. Look at this comparison. All that flashy demonstration content, it's asking, what can this do? And it's made for anyone. Its only goal is awareness. But what you actually need to answer the question, how do I use this? And that's for someone specific. That's you. Your goal is integration. You see the conflict? They're not even playing the same sport. So the big takeaway here is that you weren't failing, not at all. You were just handed a screwdriver and told to hammer a nail. Of course you got frustrated. The tool was never designed for the task you were trying to do. Okay, now this is where the whole thing flips on its head. Because the one thing you might be blaming, all those years of experience, your old ways of doing things, that's not the problem. Turns out it's the solution. I know, it's so easy to fall into that trap of thinking, oh, I'm too set in my ways. You think your established workflow is a disadvantage. But when it comes to actually using AI effectively, that idea is completely wrong. It's not a barrier. It's the integration surface. Think of it like a runway. Your years of experience are the solid ground that these AI tools need to land on to actually be useful. This is the single most important shift in thinking you can make. And why is that? It's simple. These AI tools, they're amazing at generating stuff. They can spit out a dozen different versions of an email, an image, or a piece of code. But what they absolutely cannot generate is judgment. They have no idea which of those 12 versions is the right one for your specific project, for your specific client. That's where you come in. That's your superpower here. You know what good actually looks like in your field. You get the nuance. You can instantly tell the difference between something that's technically correct but useless and something that's actually going to work. That is the piece AI is missing. That's your value. All right, so we've got this big new reframe, but let's be real. If we stop here, this whole thing is just another piece of awareness content, right? We have to move from knowing to doing.
My goal isn't to give you more theories to ponder. It's to give you one single, concrete step you can take. Something small, something manageable that you can try this week to start closing that gap for yourself.
So here's the game plan. It's 4 simple steps. 1. Pick a task. Just one. Make it something low risk, something you do every week, and honestly, something that's a little bit boring. 2. Run it in parallel. This is key. Don't replace your normal way of doing it. Use an AI tool alongside it, like a helper. 3. Evaluate. This is where your expertise comes in. Look at what the AI produced. Is it any good? Is it helpful? And 4. Integrate. Just take the little bits that worked and weave them in, ditch the rest.
Look, the goal of this little experiment is not to transform your job in one afternoon. It's much, much more important than that. The goal is to get personal evidence. It's to prove to yourself with your own 2 eyes and in your own workflow that this is actually possible for you.
So let's just recap that massive shift in perspective, right? We started out thinking, the problem is me. I'm not fast enough. And now we understand, no, the problem is structural. The content I was consuming was for looking, not for doing.
So please, remember this. The answer isn't watching one more top 10 AI tools video. You have enough awareness. The implementation gap doesn't get closed with more information. It gets closed with one small, specific action. So now you see it? That whole cycle of frustration and self-blame, it was running on bad information. You've got the real diagnosis now. So the only question left is, what's your first step going to be? What's that one small, slightly annoying task you're going to tackle this week to prove to yourself that you can do this?